Hello, Sydney. Good evening, and thanks for joining us on NC Continental Prime.
Good evening. How are you? And thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you, Sydney. Now, in June 2021, Africa was taken by surprise watching as events in Eswatini engulfed into a popular uprising for democracy and human rights. At least 100 protesters were reportedly killed by the police and army. What is the hope that democracy will soon come to Eswatini?
No, we still believe that the democracy is going to come to Swaziland because a lot of our people are fed up by the system of governance that has been there for years, and they have been suffering. There's been no service delivery in Swaziland for years, while the royal family has been plundering the economy. They've been buying cars for themselves while everybody else remain poor. You will recall that a number of our people, they live in abject poverty, and it's about 70% of us live beyond the poverty line. Therefore, a lot of people, because of poverty, people do not want to be subjected to poverty again, because the royal family has been seen buying cars, expensive cars for themselves. And then the king has been seen, him and his family, they have been buying expensive watches worth millions of rands while everybody else is suffering. So we do believe that people no longer want the system that is currently in place in Swaziland.
Okay, Sydney, after President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa met with King Swati the 3rd in November of 2021, he agreed to initiate a national confab to discuss demands raised in the protest. This hasn't started. And also, the Swaziland Liberation Movement, which was formed in October 2021, has continued to criticize the monarchy to raise awareness about the goings-on in the country. Do you see light at the end of the tunnel? So why has this process not been initiated by King Swati III? And do you see Swalimo fulfilling its, achieving its goals?
First of all, you will have to understand the manner in which the king operates in Swaziland. The king is in charge of everything. He recently said he is in charge of, he actually owns us as human beings. We are part and parcel of his property. So to deal with somebody who is like that is very, very difficult. So even the discussions with Ramaphosa, he's the one who is delaying the dialogue. You will also remember there were protests in 1996, almost similar protests that were staged by the Swaziland Federation of Trade Unions, which forced the king to also try and implement some minor democratic reforms. And the President Mandela at the time and Mugabe they flew to Swaziland to meet with the king, and the king promised. But what transpired thereafter was a constitution that was doctored by the same royal family, where he appoints his own relatives to proceed with the process. So even now, there is some secrecy around the proposed dialogue because nobody else is updating us. The initial information last year from President Ramaphosa was that we should wait for there is that period during November and December where the king goes into seclusion and no activities. He does not involve himself in government activities. But then we were of the view that we will wait, respect his rights to participate in a custom which he has been observing for years. And then we were expecting that soon after, because the process ends around the beginning of January, but there's been no communication from the government ever since. So nobody has said
Okay.
what is the way forward now. But from the side of the activists is that the main challenge is that even if the process is commissioned, you have to go to the king's main palace where the Queen Mother resides. And then you have to go there, you have to sit in a crawl. So inside the crawl, there are no chairs. You have to sit down. Everybody sits down there. And then they are within the palace because it is the main traditional palace. So within that structure, the rural or the traditionalists also live there. Most of the conservative people, they live at that place.
Okay.
So there's also soldiers in there. So it's difficult for us to go there because after you have made your presentations against the king, there's likelihood that you are going to be ambushed and killed thereafter. So without that, so from the multi-stakeholders forum, we have there have been terms of reference and there's been letters that have been addressed to President Ramaphosa indicating to him that we want a neutral venue where we can be able to
without
speak
fear.
freely. Yes.
Okay.
So
thank you
is the
very much, Sydney.
situation.
Because of time, we won't be able to go on, but I'd like to say a very big thank you to you, Sydney Maseko, for joining us live from Durban, South Africa.